Hi everyone, hope you're well. Hope you're ready for a workout, an enjoyable workout. We're going to look at reverse punch, so straight backhand punch today. Look at some various aspects, a bit more detail. Anyway, we'll get to that. Let's have a nice little warm up, a little bit of exercise to start with. Get our bodies active, yeah? Good, right. Start on your toes as always. Side and close. I hope you had a good week, or a good however many days it is since we were last training together. Have you been training? Have you been either doing the classes that I'm putting up here live for you, or maybe a combination of the classes, again with hybrid? You do a bit of one class, a bit of something else. It's all that matters. You're active, you're busy, you're doing things, you're getting yourself moving. These are the most important things in life. Yeah? Just get yourself moving, do something you enjoy. I've just been teaching a class this morning, and we did a little bit of. I'm tempted to call it knife defense, but you might change legs. But I don't know, is it knife defense? I think a more accurate description would be knife attack survival strategies. Yeah, and, I wouldn't ever dream of trying to tell anyone that I was an expert on defending himself in a situation with a knife. But I have had lots of opportunities in my life to think about how how I would deal with these things and how I have dealt with these things. So it's just my take on things, really. But anyway, my point in mentioning it, Paul, was that I said to the class, according to statistics, all of us are 7 times more likely to die from an obesity-related illness than we are from being attacked in the street or being attacked by an unknown assailant. And that's scary, isn't it? 7 times more likely to die from something that we can completely prevent than we are from somebody else attacking us and causing us harm. That's a scary statistic. But in a way, well, I'm falling on that one back. In a way, that's sort of comforting. It goes to show that we live in a relatively safe society, or I'm based in the UK, so my society is relatively safe. Looking at crime statistics, though, I don't think crime statistics are hugely different from the United States to UK, and I know that Europe is fairly similar to all of UK as well. So wherever you're watching, I can't imagine there'd be a huge difference in the things that are going to do us harm. I lift up and out, and obviously the thing that's most likely to do us harm, obesity, inactivity, is the very thing that we can. Back to my constant nagging of why you should do things like this. It's a great way to stay active. Stay mobile, karate empty hand, is that you can do it at any age to some level, can't you? Good, let's close the desk and the other way. Remind you once again, I'm sure you're better with this, but I will remind you, you will get so much more out of martial arts, karate, empty hand training. You get so much more if you go and do it as a group, somewhere locally to where you live, than if you do it online with me. I love the fact that you're doing these classes online. Get more if you find somewhere locally who you can work with. All right, Dragon Punch. Yeah, probably the most significant thing is the camaraderie, the people you work with, how much fun that is. Okay, so let's go one leg forward and swing our back knee. If you do go to train at a local venue, local to you, then there's no reason why you have to stop doing these classes with me as well. So you can do both. Change legs. This is something along the lines of, no, you must only listen to me, for I am the way, the truth, and the light. Maybe you should choose a different instructor. Because it's better to have more information than less information, isn't it? You know, it's always good to have more knowledge than less knowledge. It gives you more choices. Okay, this one, with your left leg and push. Change sets. Make it stretch to be just punching using our upper body. But I would still always have a good stretch because it's a nice physical warm up. Gets my whole body moving. You know, why do I only want to warm up the parts of my body that I'm going to be working with in the session? You know, warm up with the whole body, isn't it? Gets everything moving. It's my whole pump. Good, right, let's do some straight swings then. So with straight leg swings, remember to do this gradually. So let the leg swing until it feels a little bit tight, let it drop back. Next time probably go a little bit higher. So as your muscles loosen, you can see you get a bit more height, a bit more flexibility, more mobility. And 1, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. Now, you're going to be looking at reverse punch. So let's look at it in broad terms to begin with. Let's get the general feel of the action. Yeah, so I'll turn sideways. So having a position with my hands up, I'm going to be punching with this hand, my back hand. I'm going to extend it outwards. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about making sure your palm is upwards as far as you can and then turn it up. I'm happy for you to be in a comfortable position as you extend it out. But as you reach full extension, it's much easier to get that last piece of reach and lock your muscles and your joints into position if you turn your hand over at the end. Again, I don't believe there's any mystical thing about twisting this into someone's torso and causing more damage. I think it's a purely physiological thing where my body works better if my arm is fully extended with my palm downwards than palm upwards. It doesn't feel so good that way. Right, so I want you to extend the arm, turn it over at the end, and pull back. Now, if you want to think about this arm, fine, but there are a couple of ways to think of this. You can hold it up as a defending arm, right? So that it's a barrier against something coming back towards you, or you can think of it as a grab, where it actually pulls your opponent's arms out of the way or clears the path. You pull them onto the punch, so you grab on punching arm. But I don't want to overcomplicate this to begin with. So just pop one leg in front, punch towards the screen, and let's just go towards, you punch towards my center line. I'll obviously do the same because I can see myself on the screen there. We'll just turn over, and then we'll look at some of the components of the punch as we go. Right, so let's just get the general feel of it first. So if your left leg is in front, you're going to be punching with your right hand and vice versa. Yeah. All right, so let's go straight backhand punch. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, and switch legs. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, okay, I'm going to just pop Adrian's music back on. And for those of you who don't know, Adrian is a great friend of mine who created this music and very kindly allowed me to use it for my classes, my online classes. Good. All right, now, let me turn sideways again. Let's look at some of the components of this punch. So 3 main components that give you power, effect, impact. So the movement of the arm is the most obvious one, isn't it? You know, the way you move your arm forwards and backwards, that's going to give you force. Yeah. The second thing is if I twist with my torso. Yeah, so I use my legs and my back, my abdominals to get that twist, that torque effect. Yeah. Yeah. And then is if I move my front foot forward as I punch, my body weight moves into the technique as well. Right, so I've got 3 components: this, and this. Yeah. Now, if I can get all 3 of them to work together, that's great. But it's not easy when you're first starting out to try and think of all those things. Right, so first of all, we've worked the motion of the arm, so let's assume that we've got that. Let's keep our feet still and twist our torso as we punch. Now, I said to you about, do you keep your front arm and hand up, or do you pull it back? So let's pull it back, because that's a much better way to increase the twist, the torque action, right? So from here, this hand pulls right back, yeah? Now, whether you actually use it like this, if you ever have to use reverse punch, completely up to you. But it does help to illustrate that twisting action. Yeah, so pull this hand back, twist in with the other side of your body, yeah? But not just your shoulders, the twist as well. Now, a good way to get extra twist is to push on the floor with your back foot. So this foot, I'm pushing the ball of my foot into the ground, right, to drive my hip forward this way. Yeah, so this is twisting, this is twisting. Yeah, all right, let's try 10 on each side this way. You can see better if I stand this way. All right, ready? Here we go. 1. Good, really good twist. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, let's get the other way. Ready? 1, 2, twist it, twist your hips and your shoulders. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. All right. So I would suggest you practice this lesson several times, because reverse punch is such a basic, fundamental technique that it's really worth having a good one. You know, it's not too athletic to perform. You don't have to be gymnastic or have great flexibility. Right, so it's a relatively undemanding technique to be able to do well. And to have some of those is always good, right? I mean, you don't need to be a super fit, superhero, super flexible person to pull off a good reverse punch. So I would always recommend you do try to develop a really good reverse punch. Now, I would practice it lots of times. You can practice the aspect we just dealt with, that twist action. Practice that lots. But obviously, I need to move on and show you something else to incorporate as well. So I want you to think about now moving that front foot forward. So arm action, twist action, the torque. Right, but also now this, if I move my front foot forward, my body weight gets behind the technique as well. Right, so let's have that component in this time. I'm still going to pull back with this hand because I like the the effect of that. I'm going to step forward a little bit with this leg and drive out this way. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice little squeak from the bag there. 8, 9, 10. I promise you, it is the bag squeaking, not my joints. Right, so I keep facing this way, but I'll have the other leg, so you get to see the technique from the opposite side this time. Okay, ready? Here we go. I'm going to move this foot forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, super stuff. I'm going to quick drink. Lovely. So those are the 3 basic components. Arm movement, twist, torque here, and body weight moving forward. Right, so there are some other things I want to think about though. I want you to really think about keeping your shoulders above your hips. So obviously they're higher than your hips, but what I mean directly above your hips. So what we're trying to avoid is this. So you see my shoulders are now completely in front of my hips. Right? And that's going to really leave me badly balanced. If I miss with the technique, I'm going to struggle to recover. I will have overreached. I may fall on my face. There are all sorts of things that may happen because I haven't maintained good form. Yep. So as I punch, I'm fully extended. Hopefully you can see from there, my shoulders are directly above my hips. Yeah, I'm pretty much upright from here. Yeah, and that's what we need to go for because that's the most efficient punch. Yeah, that's the most efficient way to execute this punch. I get my hips pushed forward with that movement. I get the hips twisted with the torque, but they need to be vertical. My torso needs to be vertical so that translates through to my shoulders into a really strong technique, a really efficient technique. All right, so let's do another 10 each side, really paying attention to the fact that shoulders directly above hips. Okay, we ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, swap legs. Ready? 1, twist. Check my shoulders are above my hips. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, right now. A component that I want to look at, the twisting component. I'll come a little bit closer. May help you to see. If I'm reverse punching, I twist in this way. What I'm after, when I move my body weight forward, and this is the punching shoulder, if you like. Yeah, this is the drive of the arm, isn't it? I don't want any backward. Well, I don't want any backward movement of any of my torso. So this is the most forward part of my body at the moment, isn't it? This is like what I suppose my hand is. But I'm going to go forward from there. So all of my body. So almost this shoulder is my pivot point. This is the stationary part, or the most stationary part, and everything comes to get in front of that shoulder. And this may sound a bit complicated, but what I'm trying to avoid is this. You imagine you pivot around your center line. So as though you've got a pole up your bum, it comes out of the top of your head, and it makes you do this. Because this looks similar, but it's very different. If I pull this shoulder back in order to get this shoulder forward, I do get a twist, but I also get a backward action. So this part of me pulls backwards. And if I'm trying to make force go that way, I don't want any of me to go this way. So I don't want this. Yeah, so there's pull back. Yeah, so pull back this way. Hope it makes sense. I'll do some facing the screen. So this shoulder does not go backwards. I don't go. Yeah, that's probably even easier to see when I stand here. So not this, but this. Yeah, so this is the point. This stays pretty much where it is, and the whole of the rest of me comes in front of that shoulder. Not this stays where it is, and I pivot about that point. Yeah, and I know this is awkward to explain, but if I did this and the pivot point was at the center line, I would go, yeah, and stay on the same spot if you like, just pivot about my center line. What would be much more powerful is to pivot around my front foot and have this happen. Yeah? So instead of thinking my front foot is the pivot point, I'm going to think my front shoulder is the pivot point. Yeah, that may have been way too complicated as an explanation, but it is really important, because the last thing you want to do is have any of your weight pulling backwards when you're trying to get force to go forwards. Right, so not this, but this. Yes, I'm driving in. Right, so let's do another 10. I want you to consciously think you do not pull back this way. You drive everything forward. Okay, ready? Stay upright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, right, switch legs. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, relax. So lots to think about there. And I hope you can see that although it's a fairly straightforward, fairly basic technique, there are loads of components, loads of elements that make it a stronger technique or a less strong technique, depending on how well you execute each of those components. There are more components as well. I just don't want to overcomplicate things to start with. You've got all sorts of other things to consider, like do you punch high, do you punch low? is the most effective technique? Well, I personally believe that the most powerful technique would be at shoulder height, because then it's a direct punch, isn't it? But unfortunately, if my opponent is the same height as me, that's not really a great target area, you know? Shoulders are strong, bony, and hard. Punching my hard knuckles onto somebody's bony shoulders is not a great option. So I would either angle my technique down into the abdominal area, so from here down, here to here, or above from here to here. So the most efficient punch, I believe, the direct horizontal technique, is probably not the greatest target area. But of course, my opponent may be smaller or taller, so then everything changes. They may be in a stance or not in any sort of stance at all. So again, that changes everything. So there are lots of things to consider, but as long as you have the main elements, the main components going together, then it all works okay. All right, so I'm going to do another 10 punches towards the screen, towards the camera, and I'm going to alternate. So I'm going to do one to the face, and then the next one to the body. Yep, and you have to understand that both are angled. So if I go to the face, you can see the angle is slightly upward. If I go to the body, you can see the angle is slightly downward. So as I said, neither are 100% efficient, but they're attacking a much better target than going straight to the shoulders. All right, we ready? So we'll alternate. One high, one low. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And switch legs. Ready? 1, high, 2, low, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. All right, now one more component that I need to add in. I'd like your punches to be punches, not pushes. So if I go, that's almost a push, isn't it? Thrusting into the bag, it's a push rather than a punch. I like a punch to go, to be a punching effect. You have to have impact, penetration, and then pull back. Yeah, it's a bit like this. If I often demonstrate this in the class, if I go onto someone's shoulder, it may sting, but if I go, it will sting more. Yeah, so that slapping action. All right, so a punch, I think, should be exactly that. Punch, impact, and pull off. Yeah? All right, so let's do 5 on each side, a little bit faster, thinking about that punch and pull off. Okay? All right, come on, do this with me. I'll go sideways. I'll go to the back. So you can see what I mean if I go to the back. So I'm going to punch and pull off the back. Right, also, it recovers me for another punch if I need to. Yep, so I can do a punch, pull back. I can go again. All right, are we ready? 1, punch, pull back. 2, punch and move. 3, punch and move. Still got to be fully extended though. 4, 5. Good, let's switch legs. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, good. Now, when you start, I don't know if you have a bag, but if you do have a bag or something you can make contact with, ensure that you are making contact with that bag at the maximum efficiency position. So that's almost fully extended, but not quite fully extended. So if I can only just reach the bag, right then, that's not going to have a good impact, is it? So I need to be almost fully extended there, but still have some impact to penetrate into the surface of the bag. So pull back. Okay? All right, so you've got lots to think about. If you have any questions, just text them in and I'll do my best to answer. All right, hope you had a good session. Stay healthy, stay fit, and keep practicing. Thanks, guys. See you soon.